Hello friends, welcome back to English Classes Online. I am Benjamin. Today's video is about sentence interpretation, 2021 Jamb preparation English past questions. This video is devoted to explaining how to interpret the sentence, and we shall be looking at the various devices, various strategies for getting it right in your Jamb exam. If you are new to this channel, subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. You can also click on the bell icon so that whenever new videos are uploaded on the channel, you will receive instant notifications. Let's dive into the lesson without much ado. Now, UTME English Language 2013 questions paper type D. We shall be looking at these questions, examining how to interpret the questions. All right. But before we do that, let's familiarize ourselves with the strategies, the devices for getting the sentence interpretation correct. How to interpret sentence meanings. Most sentences that students are asked to find appropriate interpretation contain idiomatic expressions. All right? We can figure out the meaning of an idiom by examining the elements that make up the idiom and the mental pictures they create in our minds. To do this, we need some literary devices. And these are metaphors, imagery or images, symbolism, and contextualization. Let's look at how we can use these devices to facilitate our understanding of a sentence meaning. Now, using metaphors, you need to understand that a metaphor directly refers to one thing by mentioning another. A metaphor states that one thing is another thing. For example, Jack is the black sheep of the family. So you see a metaphor is always like this, telling us that Jack, here we have Jack, and then we have black sheep of the family. And when you look at it, of course, it doesn't have literal meaning. It is a figurative meaning. It is metaphorical, if you like. So what is it telling us? You have to look at what does black sheep refer to? Black sheep of the family. Now, this person is simply saying that Jack is a disgrace, a failure, or an embarrassment to the family. That's simply what it means. So you should be able to look at a metaphor, which is which can be interpreted by looking at the kind of image or images that the expression creates in your mind. Now, the second one, Udo is a snake in the grass. So here you discover that Udo is mentioned, and when this statement says that Udo is a snake in the grass, you need to figure out what is the possible meaning of a snake in the grass. What kind of mental picture does it give you? A snake in the grass is, capable of doing anything, right? It can break out from any place. You are not certain about what will happen. So that gives you the picture of someone who cannot be trusted. So it simply means that Udo is someone who cannot be trusted. All right? So this is how we try to use a combination of metaphor and imagery to try to figure out the meaning of a sentence. Now let's look at imagery. Imagery is the use of words to describe ideas or actions. An image is the mental picture you have about what has been said, heard, seen, touched, or smelled. Examples: Udeme's plans amount to building castles in the air. Here you discover building castles in the air is used to refer to an unrealizable plan. But first you need to understand what kind of picture this expression gives you. You know, when someone is building castles in the air, then what kind of image does it create in your mind? It's the image of someone attempting to do the impossible, the undoable, because you need to build castles uh, on land, not in the air, right? And so it has not been a common thing to find a house built in the air. So that gives you a picture of an unrealizable plan or an impossible mission. Then the second example, Lucy dropped the bombshell at last. She was HIV positive. Now, what does it mean to drop the bombshell? You know, a bombshell gives you a picture of something that can explode. Can explode. It's a kind of explosion. So that gives you a picture of something that really, uh, portends a kind of danger or something that is really not positive. Because if a bombshell is dropped, it's capable of killing someone or causing some injuries to people in that environment. But then this is metaphorical or figurative, if you like. So what picture does it give you? Obviously, when you also look at the actual piece of information that Lucy brought, Lucy was HIV positive. It's not good news, obviously, it's bad news. All right? And something unexpected. So here, the bombshell is not about a bomb, it's an unexpected piece of news. A shocking, a piece of shocking news, if you like. All right? So that is how we can use imagery to attempt to, uh, to interpret the meaning of a sentence. If you say someone is feeling on top of the world, that also gives you a picture, all right? Gives you a picture of, the kind of feeling the person may have, So these are the ways in which we can actually attempt to interpret sentences using imagery or images. Well, let's look at the next device, symbolism. Symbolism, of course, is the use of symbols to represent ideas or qualities. Certain things are symbols for certain ideas or qualities. Examples: Bosse went through fire in the man's house. Fire is a symbol of suffering, if you like. It means she suffered or she experienced difficulties if you go through fire. All right? Another example, the government has offered an olive branch to the opposition. Olive branch is a symbol of peace. It means they've taken steps to end the conflict or to make peace. Other examples of symbols: when a crown is mentioned, it symbolizes royalty. When a cross is mentioned, it symbolizes suffering. A serpent or a snake symbolizes evil or deceit. Rose, which is a kind of flower, symbolizes beauty, and so on and so forth. Even colors, certain colors symbolize certain ideas. So you can use symbolism, to try to interpret the meaning of a sentence. And we have seen the example. Bosse went through fire in the man's house. Now, you know that fire symbolizes suffering or difficulties, and so you can simply interpret that sentence to mean that Bosse, experienced some difficulties or that she suffered in the man's house. The government has offered an olive branch to the opposition. It means that the government has taken steps to end the conflict or to make peace with the opposition. This symbol is derived from, wars that happened in the olden days when, a particular side of the war attempting to, sue for peace raised an olive branch, and when the other people saw it, they knew that these people had surrendered and they wanted to make peace. So symbolism is a device, a literary device with which we can interpret the meanings of sentences. All right? Let's now look at the next one, which is contextualization. Now, you can use contextualization approach to figure out what the unfamiliar word means. When you look at a sentence and you don't know what a particular word means, then you can use contextualization. To contextualize is to consider something together with the situation, events, or information related to it, rather than considering it alone. So when considering the context of a word, we are considering the words that come before and after it, which help us to understand what it means. So if you are given a sentence and within that sentence you have some words that are unfamiliar, you don't know the meaning, all you need to do is to contextualize. Look at the sentence as a whole. Look at the words that come before the unfamiliar words and the words that come after the unfamiliar words, and that will give you some clue as to, what exactly the meaning of the entire sentence is. Now, having looked at these devices or methods, let's now go back to use these devices and try to answer the questions. Don't forget that we are looking at 2021 Jamb preparations, English past questions. And for the purpose of this video, we have gone back to 2013 and we have taken the UTME English Language 2013 questions, paper type D. And so you can see in each of questions 36 to 45, select the option that best explains the information conveyed in the sentence. Each question carries 2 marks. Okay, now let's look at it. Question 36. The team's poor performance at the tournament plumbed the depths of horror. Now we are looking at this. What's the meaning of plumbed the depths of horror? What does this mean? Obviously, these are unfamiliar words, Possibly you may not have come across this at all. But then you can use the devices, the team's poor performance. Now, you have a context clue, poor performance at the tournament. All right, so you have this piece of information which gives you a clue. So when interpreting a sentence, you go from the known to the unknown. You already know something about the team's performance at the tournament, which is the subject of discussion in this sentence. The team's poor performance at the tournament plumped the depths of horror. Now, you use the first part of the sentence to facilitate your understanding of the second part. And that is what we call context clue. It's just close to contextualization that we talked about. All right? Context clue. So one part of the sentence becomes a clue to the meaning of the other part. Context clue. I want you to understand this as something that will always help you to try to figure out the meaning of a sentence. You use what we call context clue. The team's poor performance, which of course you know, a team had participated in a tournament and they performed poorly. Now, you already have that information, that piece of information, and that helps you, even though you don't know what it means that they plumbed the depths of horror. Then, with the information you already have, you know that the team's poor performance will not, the result or the kind of feeling it will elicit will not be a positive one. You don't expect a team that performed poorly to rejoice, or the fans of that team to actually rejoice. That will help you to eliminate some of the options here. Let's look at the options. Option A, the team's performance was enjoyed by all. Of course, you know it is impossible. You know, there's no lover of a team that will enjoy their performance when it is poor. So you cannot say that the team's performance was enjoyed by all. So that's eliminated. B, the team's performance was full of disappointment. This actually is likely, even though we don't know the meaning of plumb the depths of horror. But we know also that horror is something negative. All right? So now we can figure out the meaning without actually knowing the exact meaning of plumb the depth of horror. Okay? Even though you discover actually that to plumb the depth of horror is actually to elicit disappointment. But even though you don't know that, you can figure out by looking at the negative pieces of information already contained regarding the team's performance. So you can beat your chest and say, yes, this is actually the answer. You know, the team's performance was full of disappointment. That is obvious. Let's look at the other options. The team's performance was rewarded. For what? You can't perform poorly and expect a rich reward. So that is also eliminated. Then D, the team's performance took them to the next round. We are not giving that information as far as this sentence is concerned. So you can now see how we can use context clue to interpret a sentence, even though we don't know the exact meaning of the expressions in that sentence. But using the context clue, all right, I want you to take note of context clue as something that can help you to figure out the meaning of a sentence, all right? Okay, so let's now go to question number 37. Tolu and Chinedu live in each other's pockets. This is also another expression that we are not familiar with. You may not have heard this expression before. Tolu and Chinedu live in each other's pockets. Now, what picture does this give you? If you live in each other's pockets, it must be something about familiarity, right? Something about closeness, right? So at least, you know, if you live in each other's pockets, then it also has to do pocket. When you talk of pockets, pockets usually symbolize somebody's money, someone's economic means, resources. So we can, we can combine a lot of the kind of image it creates in our mind and the kind of symbols, what this whole thing really symbolizes, to live in each other's pocket. What does it really mean? So with that, you can really figure out what the meaning could be. Okay, that's exactly the way it is. Now let's look at the options, having this really in mind. Option A, they steal from each other. Of course, this is not likely. All right. B, they blackmail each other. This is also eliminated. C, they are very close to each other. This is likely. D, they are long-term business partners. All right. So when you look at it, you discover that it is the idea of closeness. They are close to each other. That's really what it means. They live in each other's pockets. It has to do with the kind of closeness. All right. It gives us a picture of how close they are to each other. All right. So let's go to the next page and look at other questions. Question 38. As the drama unfolded, Ola Tinuke was advised to keep her shirt on. This is another expression we are not familiar with. What does it mean to keep one's shirt on? But this gives us a picture of something, In olden days, when people get angry or agitated, some people tear their shirts, all right, just to show how angry they are, So that gives you an impression when you keep her shirt on, as the drama unfolded, Olatinuke was advised to keep her shirt on. Now we can see as the drama unfolded, we are not told the nature of the drama, but it's a kind of context clue. All right, it gives us a clue as to, that something was happening that probably could get one agitated. As the drama unfolded, Olatinuke was advised to keep her shirt on. Keeping her shirt on has to do with her reaction to the drama unfolding. And then keeping her shirt on gives us a picture of someone who is expected to keep her calm, or not to be agitated, not to be disturbed, not to be emotionally dislocated, if you like. So let's look at the options with the picture we have gotten. Let's look at the options, and then we can use this, the knowledge we have derived from the context clues and from the images we have derived. Let's attempt to pick the option. A, she was advised to commit herself. Well, that's not likely. B, she was advised to stay calm. Of course, this is the possible answer. All right? She was advised to keep her calm, to stay calm. That obviously is the answer. She was advised to join the club. No, she was advised to wear her shirt. Already, she was asked to keep her shirt on, which means it's not referring to a new shirt she had to wear, but that was quite metaphorical or figurative. All right. So question number 39. She is a clinging child. A, well, when you are clinging, it means it's just a picture of a child that is always holding on. That is always holding on. holding on to the mother, not allowing the mother to leave her for another child or to do something else. What picture does it give you? A clinging child. A clinging child. A, he is possessive, quite likely. B, he likes to cling to his sister. We are not told it's about her sister alone. C, he is a bully, is not mentioned there. D, he is a handsome young man. Obviously, there's nothing there that suggests that that is the meaning. So, a clinging child, which means a child that is always holding on to the mother, refusing to let go. Of course, that gives us the idea of possessiveness. So, we can say he is possessive. That gives us the clue as to the meaning of the sentence. He is possessive. Question number 40. Zinana's examination result was not unfavorable. Now here we see double negatives here, and of course when you add minus to minus, well, that's when you what is this mathematical formula now? When you multiply minus and minus, there's a way you put minus and minus together mathematically and you get the positive. I am not a mathematical expert, but trying to figure out this, Zinana's examination result was not unfavorable. If something was not unfavorable, then it means that it was favorable. So let's try to figure out what this is all about. If something was not unfavorable, then it was favorable. And with that meaning in our mind, let's try to look at the options. And then with this understanding, then we can pick the right option. This becomes the context clue that we need for picking the right option, the right interpretation to this sentence. Option A, her examination did not meet her expectation. Well, we were not told that. B, she was successful in the examination. That's the obvious one. If it was not unfavorable, then it's likely to be favorable. Now, of course, this is a figure of speech that is called litotes, understatement. All right? Is the opposite of exaggeration or hyperbole. All right? So, this figure of speech uses understatement to highlight something that is of good quality. If you look at a lady and say she is not bad, she's not looking bad, obviously you are just a little bit economical with your words. Instead of saying she's very beautiful, you come with an understatement and say she's not looking bad. All right? So if it says Zinana's examination result was not unfavorable, that is an understatement. All right? So obviously you want to say that she was successful in that examination, because here you are saying she was not unsuccessful. And if she was not unsuccessful, it means she was successful. All right? Then let's look at option C. Her result could not earn her admission. Nothing like that was alluded to here. D. She failed her examination. We are not told that. So the only possible interpretation is that she was successful in her examination. In as much as Zinana's examination result was not unfavorable, obviously she was successful in the examination. So that's how we use context clues to interpret the sentence, and that's really what we want to do in this video. Now let's look at question 41. You need to brush up on your Spanish. You need to brush up on your Spanish. What does it mean to brush up? You know, when you are brushing up, let's assume it gives us the image of someone painting something or working on something. When you use a brush and you are brushing something up, of course you are trying to fine-tune it, right? To brush up means to bring some improvement, to try to fine-tune something. All right, so that is the picture it gives us here. You need to brush up on your Spanish. What does it really mean? A, you need to improve your skills. Obviously, that is what it means. You know, you need to improve. Well, let's look at other options to see if there's anyone that will be more obvious and answer than this. B, you need a brush from Spain. That is not it at all. All right. C, you need to learn to play with a Spaniard. These are all very awkward options. D, you need to study the history of Spain. All these are outrageous. So the only thing that makes meaning, which is actually close to the image we have already gotten based on the context clues and the image we have gotten from the sentence, is that you need to improve your skills. Okay, so I hope you are trying to get to pick something from this particular exercise. We are dealing with sentence interpretation, and in every English exam the examiners are fond of coming up with questions that will require you to interpret some sentences. All right, and we are looking at how you can do this effectively. Now, question number 42. Amaka would pass for a beauty queen. Would pass for a beauty queen. You know, what image do we get from this? Amaka would pass for a beauty queen. If you pass for something, it means that yes, people could actually accept you to be, people could see you as a beauty queen. It means that Amaka could be seen as a beauty queen, or anyone who looks at Amaka could believe that she is a beauty queen. So that's the picture we get from this. Amaka would pass for. If you pass for something, it means you qualify for it. All right, so with this kind of understanding, let's look at the options. So now what do we do here? First, we look at the sentence, the given sentence. We look at it from different angles. What image does it create in our mind? Is there any symbol that will help us to figure out the meaning? Or is there any context clue? Context clue could be any of the words or the phrase, you know, in that particular sentence. And all this put together will help us to figure out the meaning. Now let's look at the options. A, she would be accepted by all as a beauty queen. I think this is a likely answer. You know, if Amaka would pass for a beauty queen, it means she would be accepted by all as a beauty queen. But let's look at other options. B, she walked past her beauty. She walked past the beauty queen. Obviously, that's not the meaning. C, she was acting like a beauty queen. Definitely, we were not told she was acting like a beauty queen. Now, what we find in this sentence is the opinion of the speaker, not the behavior of Amaka. All right. So now let's look at option D. She would pass the drink to the beauty queen who is sitting next to her. Well, all these are not implied in the sentence at all. Now, one thing we can also find here is that In fact, once you can figure out the possible meaning of a sentence, you can also use what we call the elimination method. Elimination method. Let me put this down for you. You can take note of this. Elimination method. All right. From eliminate, you have elimination. I will explain this, although you may know it, because I have already used that method, this method in all the questions. Now, this elimination method is very, very effective as well. When all other methods fail, this is your last resort. When you don't have any other method that seems to work, definitely this one will come to your rescue, the elimination method. And in most cases, when you have some slight idea about what the meaning could be using some context clues and some other devices, yet the meaning you try to figure out from the sentence is somehow vague or ambiguous, you are not sure, then you have to apply the elimination method. Now we have, from the meaning we try to figure out from the sentence, we are going for option A. She would be accepted by all as a beauty queen. All right, much as we are trying to pick this, we have to be sure we use the elimination method. We want to look at other options and see how possible it is to be a cogent answer. If not, we eliminate it right away. Some options are very obvious by reason of being outrageous, completely irrelevant. Then we eliminate that option right away, and that brings us closer to the last man standing. So option B, she walked past the beauty queen. This is in no way related to the sentence at all. It's too far away from the meaning, so we eliminate it. Bad. All right. Option C, she was acting like a beauty queen. We were not told that. All right. There's nothing there that told us about Amaka's behavior. It's just the opinion of the speaker. Amaka would pass for a beauty queen, without telling us whether Amaka was acting like a beauty queen or walking like a beauty queen. It's not anything that has to do with Amaka's behavior, so we can cancel this option. So we have eliminated option B and option C. We are now left with option B. She would pass the drink to the beauty queen who was sitting next to her. This is absolutely outrageous. It's completely unnecessary, as it is totally irrelevant to the meaning of the sentence. So we have eliminated option B, option C, and option D, and we are only left with option A. So this gives us the certainty that option A is correct. All right, you see how the elimination method can lend credence to the option you have already chosen. If in the course of using the elimination method you come across an option that tends to be the answer, then you subject it to other verification procedures. You check it against the context clue you have, the image you have, the symbols you have of the sentence, and then you pick the one that actually corresponds to the very devices that you have used in verifying the meaning of the sentence. Okay, let's go to question 43. I can't wait to become a mother, the new bride declared. I can't wait to become a mother. When people say I can't wait to do so, it means that it's always something that you are excited about, something. I can't wait to do this, I can't wait to do that. You know, it's something you are looking forward to with expectation, with excitement, with joy, you know. So that is always the way this kind of sentence, this kind of expression is used. I can't wait to, you know. It's always something that you are excited about, you know. So with that meaning in our mind, let's look at the options. Option A, she's excited about motherhood. That's likely. Then once we have chosen option A, then we subject the others to the elimination method, right? Now let's now look at option B. She is not keen on becoming a mother. You cannot, this is actually eliminated, because if it is something you are not keen on becoming, then you can't be excited about it. I can't wait to become a mother, which means you want to become a mother as quickly as possible. In fact, you are losing your patience. You want to get to that position. So that eliminates option B. Then option C, she will be patient as a mother. No, that's really not. When you can't wait, it also shows that you are not patient about something. If you are patient about something, then you can wait. But something you can't wait, you are already losing patience. So that nullifies option C. Then option D, she sees motherhood as a burden. If you see something as a burden, then of course you can't be in a hurry to get to it. But if you say, I can't wait to become a mother, which means you want to become a mother as quickly as possible. If it is something you see as a burden, then you won't be rushing towards it. All right, so that eliminates option D too. So using a combination of context clue and imagery, we figured out the meaning of the sentence. We picked option A, which we thought was the answer, and then we had to subject options B, C, and D to the elimination method, and that has actually worked. So that confirms option A as our answer, so we can then pick it. All right, then let's look at question 44. Usman needs to get his act together if he wants to pass the examination. Now we have a lot of context clues here. You know, Usman needs to get his act together. You know, when you get your act together, it's a context clue. Get your act together. What does it? Even if we don't know the actual meaning, you know, when you are getting your act together, when you think something you get together, obviously is something that you want to organize. All right, you get your act together. You are not scattering your act, you are getting your act together. That gives you a kind of picture, even though that is not really. We are trying to figure this out using the kind of image it creates in our mind when you get your act together. Now then we have another context clue. If he wants to pass the examination. Now if you want to pass your examination, there are certain things you need to do. So from background knowledge, there are things we expect Usman to do if he wants to pass his examination. And then we combine this context clue to his getting his act together. And that gives us a picture of somebody who needs to do the right thing that people who want to pass exam need to do. What are those things? Let us try to figure out the answer with the kind of understanding we have gotten through our analysis. Now, A, he needs to organize himself. This is a possible answer, because getting your act together has to do with organizing yourself. This actually we can vouch for. But let's look at the other options and see if we can eliminate them. B, he needs to be fast when writing the examination. We are not told that, so completely we can eliminate this. Getting your act together is not about being fast when writing the examination. He needs to put on his stage costume. He's not going to act. So it's not about acting. So it's not a stage. He's going for an examination. So we can eliminate this right away. D, he needs to pull all points down in the examination. This also is quite outrageous. So you can see how we can use the elimination method to confirm a likely option we have chosen. And when we have used the elimination method to nullify all the other options, then we can beat our chest that the option we have chosen is quite correct. Okay, so let's wipe the board so we can get to the next page and find it clean. Alright, so let's go to question number 45. Question number 45. Ramatu expressed her feelings in no uncertain terms. In no uncertain terms. No uncertain terms. Now, if she expressed her feelings in uncertain terms, then we can be sure that she didn't quite express her feelings very well. But in no uncertain terms means in certain terms. Just as we looked at it the other time, you know, when you have these double negatives, all right, in no uncertain terms. So in this case, you have to eliminate no and eliminate on. On means no, so no certain, you know, so it means we are left with certain terms. So if we eliminate no and on, what do we have? Ramatu expressed her feelings in certain terms. That she did that certainly, clearly as possible. Alright, so that is the understanding we have of this sentence. And so let's look at the options. Option A, she expressed it secretly and courageously. Secretly. There's nothing secretive about this. So even the elimination method can help us to actually eliminate this. This is out of it. There's nothing secret. We are not told that there was anything secret about the way she expressed her feelings in no uncertain measures. So she didn't do that secretly. She did it clearly. B, she expressed it quietly and cautiously. Well, we can eliminate these two because that's really not the impression we have gotten from the sentence. C, she expressed it feebly and sickly. This is also eliminated. So we are only left with D. If D is not the answer, then we are in trouble. Then option D, she expressed it clearly and strongly. This is quite correct, you know, in no uncertain terms, clearly and strongly, you know. So this confirms that our choice is quite correct. We have eliminated the others, and option D gives us the meaning that is close, is very close to the kind of meaning we figured out in our analysis. All right, so that is exactly the way to interpret sentence meanings. And you see, there is something really, the procedure we have followed. One thing I want you to understand is that there's something about this procedure. We are using, you know, we are dealing with linguistics, right? Now, I want you to understand that linguistics is the scientific study of language, and science is something that uses observation and uses verification, you know, uses all kinds of analysis uses assumptions, uses theories, uses pieces of information, analyzing these pieces of information, and also using comparisons, contrast, elimination method. These are all scientific. All right, so what we have done in this video is to give you linguistic tools, literary devices with which you can interpret sentence meanings. And I believe strongly that if you are able to master these literary devices we have used and the procedures we have adopted, which you have seen in this video, of course you will do exceedingly well in any English exam in which you are asked to interpret sentences. So I hope you've been able to take some benefits away from this video. We have been looking at sentence interpretation, and we looked at 2021 Jamb Prep English past questions, and we have used various linguistic tools, literary devices to attempt to interpret sentence meanings. And I hope you have learned some things that will help you to score high in your English exams, particularly your 2021 Jamb exam if you are going to sit that exam. I wish you all the best. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so by clicking on the subscribe button below. Click on the bell icon as well so that you will receive instant notifications when new videos are uploaded on this channel. I want to thank you for being part of today's episode. If you have any comments of commendation or any suggestions as to how we could improve the quality of our lectures on this channel, do not hesitate to leave your comments below. You will find the comment section where you can put your comments. You can as well suggest a topic, any topic in English learning, any area of language proficiency that you want us to discuss in subsequent videos. I will gladly treat the topic. The video I uploaded before this one, which is on punctuation marks, was suggested by a subscriber, and immediately that suggestion was made, I handled that as the next video. So I am here for you. You know, all of you out there who have shown interest in what we are doing on this channel. In fact, I do what I do because of you, and everything I do, I want to do it to satisfy you. I want to do it to give you value for your time, and value for, you know, forgoing all other options that you have out there to really watch videos on this channel. So I am here to serve you, and if you have any suggestions, please do not hesitate to leave them there, because your suggestions are the catalyst I need, you know, the motivation I need to just go on uploading new videos that will be useful to a lot of people out there. Once again, I want to thank you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.